Well, we have a lot going on. We've done a lot of work with the vision of the district. We passed a bond issue in 2019, and so we're looking toward the end of 23 of finishing up all those projects. Every single building got something, and so we've really been able to, it was a $110 million bond, and so we've been able to really build and progress. A couple of things. One is Rufford Village. You might notice that it's right next door to our high school. We're building a brand new basketball arena and a new football field, and so our first ball game is September 2nd, so we're pretty excited about that and opening that up. And then our basketball team will be able to play basketball in the arena as well. So we're pretty excited about that. Two buildings that really finished up last year was our junior high, which is Alice Robertson, was a brand new building that was built. We also just finished up Tony Getz Elementary, and so that was done last year as well. So we've got quite a few. Grant Foreman is another building that we redid, and so it's been, I would say for the last 3 years, it's been a really busy time for us here in the district.
And what do you think that all of these new projects mean for the district, but for the students specifically?
You know, specifically for the students, I think it gives them a better environment for learning. It really provides them all of those resources they need to, you know, for teaching and learning. And so we're excited about that. But I will tell you the other thing that we've noticed, that it's expanded past our students into our community. It's brought in economic development, and I think more people want to move here. And so, you know, when you drive by and you see a beautiful building, you have a tendency to say, hey, I want to at least look at that and maybe put my child in that building. So it's been a nice deal for us for our enrollment and also for our community of Muskogee.
Are you seeing more students enroll in the district?
We are enrolling more and more this year. You know, we really saw a dip during COVID, and so we lost quite a few students, and we're just gradually increasing students. But I wouldn't say we're on a steep slope or a steep rise, I guess, of students. But I do think that we've done a better job. Just because of our new facilities, things are calmed down, people are staying here, finding jobs, things are getting better.
Absolutely. I was told that there's 2 new high school projects, or 2 new high school experiences for students.
Right.
Will you walk me through those?
Really excited about that. We're doing what's called early college high school, and so we've accepted 42 students into that. And what that program does is really take our kids and gives them an experience of really getting an associate's degree while they're going to high school. So what would happen is they would start their freshman year, they would start taking basic courses, and then they would eventually start taking the college courses at Connors, and they would graduate from high school with an associate's degree. So we're real excited about that. Free to students. So basically, I mean, they've applied, they've made a commitment, and so once you have that associate's degree, you have options. And so we're really excited about that. That partnership with Connors has been really good. The second thing that we're doing is a cadet program. It's a teacher cadet program that we're doing at the high school. We know that the teaching profession, we're having a hard time finding teachers, and I can talk about that, but we have really tried to develop a program to where we're, you know, introducing the profession to those students. So things like going into a classroom and really, you know, maybe if you want to be an elementary teacher, going into a first grade or a second grade classroom and basically helping. And so we're excited about providing that program to our students. Our enrollment, we don't know at this point. I know that we've got anywhere from 15 to 25 students that will probably participate in that cadet program.
And I mean, I know across the state, teacher shortages, every school district is dealing with them. Walk me through how you think that that'll help maybe fill in a little bit of that gap.
You know, I think one of the things when you begin to look at the teacher certification process, there's just a lot of things. I've been doing this for 32 years now. I came from a family of teachers. My mom and dad were teachers. What I will tell you is the things that we require of Oklahoma teachers in the certification is pretty extensive. I mean, not only do you have to have a college degree, but you have to pass certain tests and certification exams to actually be in the classroom. And so what we've done is we're taking more and more emergency certified teachers. we basically help them through that process so that they can go take their tests and become certified. But I will tell you, it's been more of a challenge than I ever knew that was going to be out there. I mean, I really did not ever think that we would have to go through that kind of process to find teachers. But I do think a lot more are committing to other types of careers, if you will, just because of the hoops that you have to go through in the teaching profession.
And are those standards that are just here in Oklahoma, or is that kind of across the board?
You know, it's across the board, but I do think that each state is different, and so there's reciprocity to different states. But I will tell you, just when I was across the border in recruiting, anybody we would get from Oklahoma, we knew that they were prepared because of the certification. It's pretty stringent in Oklahoma. So I do think we've got legislation that's working through the system to try to help with that, but it's been a stretch for all of us to really make all that happen.
Are there teachers that you're looking for this school year?
You know, I think we're down to less than 20 positions that we're looking for at this point. You know, I think at the beginning of the summer, we were up around 65 to 70 teaching slots, which is is a whole lot. And so we're seeing more retirements, we're seeing more people go into other professions, people leaving. And so that's been kind of one of our situations, is trying to make sure that that happens and us, you know, go recruit. We did a job fair, and we're able to get a lot of applicants that were really interested. In fact, we did that, and we actually hired 5 people in that job fair. So that's something that's really, we haven't done in the past. I mean, we've done them years ago, but we decided, let's go ahead and go out there and see if we can recruit. And we were able to find 5 teachers out of their job fair, which is really good.
Wow. And I saw at that fair, there was like a $10,000 housing stipend?
Yes, we partnered with the Port of Muskogee and the City of Muskogee. And what it is if you move into the community, into the city, you get a $10,000 stipend. And so we are excited to partner with them and give that opportunity to our staff. And so even though, you know, it's hard because people that are here is like, hey, I want that $10,000 too, but it's kind of nice because we're able to recruit people to our community and be a part of Muskogee.
Is that in addition to a sign-on bonus, or like instead of?
There's some sign-on bonuses. It depends on the area. I mean, we give bonuses for science, math, and I believe special education are the 3 areas. Those have been the most difficult certifications that we've been able to find staff in, so that's what we did.
Along with teacher shortages, are there other personnel that you guys are looking for? I know other districts are.
You know, we do have some counseling, I think 2 counseling positions that we're looking for. And that's where I know that it's getting tough, because counselors used to have to almost wait in line to become a counselor because there was, you know, just not enough jobs. Now we have counseling positions open. So I think we have 2 counseling positions available as well.
And any support staff, bus drivers, anything like that?
Some, you know, bus drivers, custodians, those kinds of jobs or positions are always somewhat difficult to fill. You know, transportation is interesting. Now the process there, again, certification, if you're going to do that, you can drive an 18-wheeler and make more money doing that than driving a bus. So it's been a challenge, and I know that there's guidelines to make sure that we have quality people behind the wheel of the bus, and I get that, but it's pretty tough to find bus drivers. So that's one of the best things going to is some of our coaches and staff double dip. I mean, they basically teach school during the day, and we'll drive a route in the evening or in the morning. So we've been able to kind of fill those positions with that.
Do you see any long-term solution for some of the shortages we're seeing? Obviously not just here, but across the state.
I do think that we're having a lot more genuine, open conversations with the legislature to kind of talk about what can we do about that pipeline for teachers. The college level, that's always something that, you know, you and I could probably go in and teach a class if we were certified in teaching, But if you're not a certified teacher, I will tell you that it becomes, even though you have a degree maybe in business and you want to come in and teach, the methods of how to work with a classroom full of students and what you're supposed to do, that's what we're seeing is with these emergency certifications. People are struggling. They struggle with the classroom management. They struggle with all of the work that they've got to do besides just teaching the subject and the content. And so we're having more and more of those conversations to talk about what are those things that we could do to help people through that. Because most of that you get when you go through the College of Education, per se, in a college course, you're learning those things of how to have a classroom and how to run a classroom.
But that's not necessarily what they're teaching in emergency certification? Is that what you're
Emergency
saying?
certification is basically you don't have to go back to school. You're basically just go take the test. And so that's the problem is that, yeah, we might be able to go pass the test and we know the content, but it's different when you need about 6 to 9 hours of really understanding how to run a classroom and how to handle the classroom management of students and all of that. Substitutes, we struggle with substitutes. I think we were in a perfect storm because we were beginning to see some problems with getting people in, but then COVID hit. And I think we have people that are nervous about being around others during the big COVID scare that we've had this last, 2 or 3 years. We were out 2 years ago, quite a long time. And then last year we weren't really out much at all. So anyway.
Yeah, and I was going to say, nice segue. Speaking of COVID, walk me through some of the protocols that you guys have.
Beginning in August, we will begin statistics about who has COVID. So we wouldn't put anybody's name, but what we do is we basically monitor it, how many students, how many staff, and all of that. That way we're transparent about where these students or staff members may be. And then we'll kind of walk through those protocols of, fever, all of that kind of stuff, staying home. But I will tell you, and I'm going to tell you from our perspective, we're going to try to stay in school. I will tell you this, a teacher in a classroom, face-to-face instruction is much better than staying at home on a computer with a hotspot. So I have proof of that through our grades, data that shows that kids really want that interconnectivity and that connectivity with a teacher. And so we'll try really hard to stay in school. If it gets really high, then we've got to evaluate. What is that number? I can't tell you what that threshold will be. But I will tell you that that's one of the things that I really believe in is staying in school.
Absolutely, and I know that we've heard that from educators kind of across the board. Are the COVID protocols, is that just going to be a new normal, you think, moving forward?
I think so. I mean, if you look at really what we've done, we kind of know. We kind of know what those are. If you feel sick and you feel like that you have fever, you need to stay home. If you've been sick, make sure you cover your face, doing all of those kinds of things. So doing those things are really easy, I think. The interesting thing about it is our students really are the most compliant with these protocols. It's the adults that get upset about different things. So we've not had any issues with students. Basically, they kind of follow the protocols pretty well. We'll still have hand sanitizer. We'll still make sure we disinfect classrooms. If we know of a student that has COVID and they've gone home, then we would disinfect that classroom. And so those are things that we've kind of just become, it's the new normal. And so it's not been that big of a deal.
And I know with students, obviously, in the classroom now, safety has to be top of mind. When I think back to Uvalde just a couple of months ago, my heart just breaks for every family that had to deal with that. I'm sure school safety is something that you guys think about frequently.
I tell you what, as a superintendent, my biggest fear is that. I mean, I basically, in my mind, because I feel like when they're at school, they're my babies and my kids that, my personal kids that I've got to protect. And so we spend a lot of time making sure that our buildings are safe. Can I guarantee safety? That is a no. I can't guarantee anything. But I will tell you this. We have all the safety protocols in place. We go through training all the time. Our teachers are trained at the beginning of the year. We actually have 5 different drills throughout the year. Kids and staff know that. We have our own police force. We have 7 full-time police officers on staff. They're all CLEAT and certified through CLEAT certification. So, you know, we have into our entries of all buildings. At the front is a secure front vestibule, front entry. We have a new badging system to where you have to go through the front office to get a badge if you're visiting the school. So there's things like that and protocols that we're really trying hard to take care of. The other thing that I'll mention is the surrounding of a building. There's a lot of coming and going because you have to have egress out of buildings by code. So there's doors everywhere, okay? You go out to recess, you come back in. One of the things we're trying to do is make sure that we're talking to our adults, our staff, about coming and going. A door needs to lock behind you. If you're going out to the playground, that door needs to lock behind you, and we're really trying hard to work with a fobbing system to where basically you have to get back in through a fob, not a key. And so those are the things that are concerning our bigger campuses, such as the high school. It's very hard to keep it completely locked down because there's a lot of coming and going all day long. So I just think that there's always new things and new data that you need to look at and review. But I'm going to tell you, it's my biggest worry, fear about the safety of our kids. Because I know that I can't just guarantee that, but I also know that it's all of our responsibility to be vigilant in making sure that if you see something, say something. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of if someone is on campus that you don't recognize, they don't have a badge on, ask a question. Why are you here? What, you know? So those are the little things, but those become big things over time.
Absolutely. And I know this summer the governor issued an executive order which had some specifics that schools had to deal with.
Yeah, I think the rave buttons, I think that's the one thing that everybody has really talked about. I think by September 1, I think is the deadline for that. So what we'll do is we're working on that. We've been working on it for the last year anyway, so it's not something that's new for us. So that will be implemented at Muskogee as well.
Is there anything else that you think that people need to know as we head into the new school year?
You know, I think it's always a time to, I love school, that's what I do. And so the beginning of a school year is always fun, it's always refreshing. I would say sit down, no matter how old your kid is, sit down and talk about the new year, talk about the positive things that are getting ready to happen and making sure that you have everything ready to go and being prepared. You know, the first few days, no matter if you're in Muskogee or if you're in Tulsa, it's hard to get to school that first few days. And so make sure you drive that route, know where you're going, and be patient with people because everybody's wanting to get students to school and get to work. And so, but it's an exciting time. I really think this is our post-COVID, and so the new normal has set in, and I think people understand kind of what that is. And be patient with that because all of us are trying to do the best thing for your kid.